We're joined now by Marc Zell, chairman of Republicans Overseas Israel, as well as the vice president and general counsel at Republicans Overseas Inc. And Marc, what do you make of these statements from the U.S. administration? Because visits that were supposed to be about U.S.-Israel relations, cementing the ceasefire, they've now taken on a new headline: the U.S. administration's frustration over some of these far-right Israeli annexation attempts.
Nicole, I'd recommend to you and to your viewers and to your fellow colleagues in the panel tonight not to make too much of this. The relationship between Israel and the United States, as both the heads of state have described it, as a partnership, and it's a very strong partnership. And like any partnership, it's a dynamic one. It's responding to developments in Gaza, in the Israeli domestic political arena. All of these things are happening in real time, and the partners need to consult with one another, as they have been doing in a very dramatic way, as you pointed out, this procession of high-ranking American officials coming here. That demonstrates the extraordinary closeness between the Israel and the United States. And with respect to the preliminary vote on applying Israeli sovereignty throughout Judea and Samaria, I can tell you this. I mean, it's just bad timing. The Trump administration put together this extraordinary coalition that includes two implacable enemies of Israel, and I'll describe them: Turkey and Qatar, who are basically fronts for the Muslim Brotherhood. But nevertheless, their cooperation, along with the other regional and world powers in this agreement, is important to the success of President Trump's Gaza plan. Having this discussion about sovereignty over Judea and Samaria at this particular time, as he's trying to consolidate this extraordinary coalition and build the foundation for the peace plan, just as bad timing. I agree with Vice President Vance about this. I mean, just was silly. Now, I favor personally applying a full sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. I'm speaking to you now from Tekoa, near Bethlehem, in eastern Gush Etzion. But I think that raising this issue now at this time was a political stunt, and it has a lot to do with Israeli domestic politics. There's an election coming in a few months, and the parties are jockeying for position among the electorate.
Marc, you say this is bad timing right now when it comes to all of these American officials here, but do you expect the Trump administration stance to change? Because President Trump, he said, be one of the most pro-Israel, even settlement-friendly presidents in history. But in an interview October 15th that Time magazine just published today, Trump says Israel would lose all support from the United States if it does move ahead with annexing parts of the West Bank.
Okay. President Trump has said that. At the same time, Nicole, President Trump has dispatched the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, his extraordinary ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, and others who have continually expressed support for Jewish rights in Judea and Samaria. The annexation of these areas at this particular time, given the sensitivities and the fragility of the coalition that President Trump has built and is attempting to maintain, is not in the cards at the moment. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has made this very clear when he instructed, and the Likud party voted unanimously against this, even though the same group of people in the Likud party support sovereignty, Israeli sovereignty over these areas. So what we're trying to do is dance between the raindrops. That's what President Trump is doing. Another thing he pointed out in that Time interview, which you didn't mention, is that he's considering having Marwan Barghouti, the terrorist Palestinian leader that's in Israeli jail, released. Now, come on. We know that that's not going to happen, but President Trump is playing this game as he does. It's the art of the deal. He does it very well, and can be very stressful for participants in the negotiation. But we know where President Trump's heart is. We know where Marco Rubio's heart is, and the administration is solidly behind Israel. What they're trying to do is keep this coalition vibrant and robust and make the foundation for getting on to phase 2 of the peace agreement.
It's the art of the deal, and we see how crucial those deals are as we feel them right here in Israel. Marc,